are two maps of where mangroves are located. This map shows the species diversity of the mangrove forests by using a color scale. Blue is the least amount of species, and red is the most. Typically, mangrove forests are located right near the horse latitude lines at 25 degrees north and 25 degrees south. For your reference, horse latitude lines are 30 degrees north and 30 degrees south. There are no longitude boundaries. Countries that have great examples of mangrove forests include India, Philippines, and Malaysia. Here are the abiotic factors. The average precipitation in a mangrove forest is 1,000 to 1,500 millimeters per year. The average temperature is 72 degrees Fahrenheit or 22 degrees Celsius. Wind patterns include occasional cyclones and harsh winds throughout the year. The soil is saline, anoxic, acidic, and usually waterlogged. It typically consists of silt and clay material from the river sediments. Anoxic essentially means that there is a lack of oxygen in the water. As shown in the photos of mangroves earlier, there are lots of trees, shrubs, and vegetation growing in the water. In this photo, you can see the daily solar radiation above and below the mangrove canopy. This particular mangrove canopy is in Sao Paulo. The red line shows the radiation above the canopy, and the beige line shows the radiation below the canopy. In terms of salinity, there are three different ranges of salinity. First is the low salinity range, which is from 0.5 to 5 ppt, which is called the oxalohaline. The second range of salinity is called the mesohaline, and it is the intermediate salinity. It ranges from 5 to 18 ppt. And finally is the polyhaline waters, which are high salinity and range from 18 to 30 ppt. The average day length in the mangrove forest is 14 hours. The average water temperature is 75 degrees Fahrenheit to 24 degrees Celsius. Weather patterns include tsunamis, heavy rain, infrequent droughts in southern mangrove forests, hurricanes, and tropical cyclones. Let's watch a video talking about the effects of hurricanes on mangrove forests.
We live in an area of the world where we get these catastrophic storm events, hurricanes and tropical storms, and when they hit the coast, they can definitely create erosion problems. And what we find is that areas that are protected or buffered by mangrove forest and wetlands tend to do much better. And then we lose a lot of coastline in areas where we've removed mangroves and replaced them with things like seawalls.
Here is a climatogram of the Mangrove Mountain in Australia. As you can see, in the first half of the year, there is more rainfall than the second half. Rainfall significantly dips in July and then increases steadily until December. Additionally, you can see that with temperature, it reaches up to a max of 43 degrees Celsius and a low of 22. The lowest is during June and the highest is during the winter. Having such an aquatic environment with so much rain allows animals like mud skippers, gray snappers, scillas, and egret to live in the environment successfully. The high rainfall means that water levels will be stable throughout the year, which allows the animals to have a stable place to live. Plants that inhabit this environment include ferns, vines, orchids, lilies, shrubs, trees, and other bushes. In this environment, the trees provide shelter to many of the animals. Additionally, the plants provide food to the herbivores. An autotroph is any sort of organism that is able to create its own food source from an inorganic substance. In this ecosystem, autotrophs can include tube worms, mangroves, phytoplankton, tree leaves, benthic algae, and zooplankton. Tube worms are able to produce energy by committing chemosynthesis by living around the hydrothermal vents around the floor of the water. Mangroves, phytoplankton, benthic algae, and zooplankton all commit photosynthesis in order to gain energy. Tree leaves also commit photosynthesis, but the way their energy is used is different. When the tree leaves break down into little pieces, this is called detritus, and this is how organisms eat the tree leaves. Here is a photo of the giant tube worm, phytoplankton, It should be noted that in real life, the phytoplankton and zooplankton are insanely tiny and impossible to see. Benthic algae and zooplankton. A heterotroph is an organism that must eat other things in order to gain its nutrition. Good examples for heterotrophs in this environment include crocodiles, mullets, scyllas, Bengal tigers, gray snappers, and monitor lizards. Their diets are as follows. Crocodiles are carnivores, mullets are herbivores, scyllas are carnivores, Bengal tigers are carnivores, gray snappers are carnivores, and monitor lizards are herbivores. Here's a photo of a crocodile, a mullet. Mullets are a small fish and are relatively low on the food chain. A scylla. Scylla is a type of crab. A Bengal tiger. Typically, tigers are only found in the Asian mangroves. This can be seen as we do not have any tigers in the US or Mexico. A gray snapper. Although mangrove snappers are generally pretty small, they rank as one of the best fish to eat because they are really tasty. And a monitor lizard. Mullets are. A decomposer is an organism that survives off of decomposing organic material. A scavenger is an animal that feeds on dead animals. They do not kill, they only eat dead things. For this ecosystem, a good example of decomposers is fungi, sea stars, and a crown conch. A good example of scavengers would be horseshoe crabs, mollusks, and shrimp. Here's a photo of a horseshoe crab, fungi, a sea star, a crown conch, and a mollusk. Essentially, a mollusk is a shelled animal that is similar to a snail, slug, mussel, or octopus. They are an aquatic animal. A keystone species is a species that the entire ecosystem depends on. If that species were not there, the ecosystem would not be the same. A few of this ecosystem's keystone species are mangroves, leaf-removing crabs, and a gray snapper. They are important because they provide shelter for the animals, and they also create water clarity. This water clarity is necessary for all of the animals in and around the water. The leaf-removing crabs are so important because they get rid of all of the litter that is created by the leaves. The mangrove trees drop so many leaves that this is a necessary step to keeping the area clean. As odd as it sounds, gray snappers are a keystone species because their pee fertilizes the mangrove forest and helps keep it running. Mangroves are important, obviously because they are a keystone species, but also because they provide so much for the animals and the residents. As covered, they help protect against hurricanes, but they also help prevent soil erosion by having the plants rooted in between the water and the ground. Mosquitoes are important because culturally, mangroves used to be viewed as just mosquito swamps, but now they are viewed as much more as there's a unique culture there. The shrimp are important since they provide for all of the people. There is a major shrimp market near mangroves because there are so many shrimp in the water. Fish also serve the same purpose. Crabs are important because they help get rid of dead matter, and they also can be used as a food source for the people. When a species is threatened, that means it is semi-close to extinction, though it can be saved if something is done. When a species is endangered, that means it is very close to extinction, and if something is not immediately fixed, the species will go extinct. Some of the current threatened species are mangrove skimmers and mangrove whiprays. Some of the endangered species are mangrove hummingbirds and mangrove finch. This is a photo of the mangrove hummingbird. This is a photo of a mangrove finch. This is a photo of the mangrove skimmer. And this is a photo of the mangrove whipray. It should be noted that 3 out of 4 of these animals are birds. This could be a trend in the endangered and threatened species of mangrove forests. Yes, there are quite a few immediate dangers to the biome. These include shrimp farming and overfishing, which are very similar, too much coastal development, pollution and climate change, or coral reef destruction. Since there was an abundance of shrimp and fish originally in mangroves, humans became reliant on all of that food and have started to overfish to the point where it is very dangerous for the mangroves as there are not enough animals in the ecosystem. Since coastal towns are both a popular destination and a popular place to live, companies have had to destroy mangroves in order to build what they want to build for tourist attractions. Pollution and climate change, it affects mangroves as it affects the rest of the world, even more so since mangroves are connected to the water so closely. Any pollution that is in the water will go into the trees and then spread through the animals. As for climate change specifically, with rising and constantly changing sea levels, mangroves will have a hard time keeping up since their roots are all in the water. If these issues are not dealt with, the ecosystem will be in grave danger. 4 examples of organizations that are helping to save mangroves are the WWF, the Mangrove Alliance, the Mangrove Action Project, and the Smithsonian. The WWF is helping to conserve mangroves by writing articles to spread awareness. The Mangrove Alliance is protecting Mesoamerica's mangroves by helping communicate and lobby. First, they start helping the local communities, and then they communicate with other organizations, scientists, and lawmakers. The Mangrove Action Project is a U.S.-based nonprofit that helps save mangroves at all levels. They communicate with both individuals and organizations to make change. Finally, the Smithsonian is spreading awareness by documenting and by writing articles, similar to the WWF, and additionally, they are communicating with governments to cause change.